Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. We welcome you to our online teaching academy Ekalaya. Yesterday we discussed about environmental economics. Today we are going to discuss about environmental goods and externalities. So environmental goods are non-market goods including clean air, clear air, clean water, landscape, green transport, infrastructure like footpaths, cycleways, greenways, public parks, urban parks, rivers, mountains, forests, and beaches. These are all the gifts, natural gifts given by God. Now we are going to discuss about environmental quality. Environmental quality is a set of properties and characteristics of the environment. So, environment plays a very important role in deciding human beings' life, isn't it? So it is a measure of the condition of an environment relative to the requirements of one or more species, not only human beings. Many species depend on the environment and also human needs. So environmental quality has been continuously declining due to capitalistic mode of functioning, isn't it? So environment is a pure public good that can be consumed simultaneously by everyone and from which no one can be excluded. A pure public good is one for which consumption is non-revival and from which it is impossible to exclude a consumer. So pure public goods pose a free rider problem. As a result, resources are depleted. The contribution of the nature to GDP as well as depletion of natural resources are not accounted in the present system of national income enumeration. Now, externalities and environment. So, in environmental economics, one of the most important market failures is caused by negative externalities. Negative externalities which arises from production and consumption of goods and services. So these externalities are third party effects arising from production and consumption of goods and services for which no appropriate compensation is paid. So externalities occur outside of the market. That is, they affect people not directly involved in the production and consumption of a good or service. They are also known as spillover effects. Now, what is meant by externality? So, externalities refer to external effects, that is, outside effects or spillover effects resulting from the act of production and consumption on the third parties, outsiders. So, externalities arise due to interdependence. So, depend on each other between economic activities. Now, we are going to see some definitions of externality. It may be defined as the cost or benefit imposed by consumption and production activities of the individuals on the rest of the society not directly involved in these activities and towards which no payment is made. The externalities arise from both production and consumption activities and their impact could be beneficial or it may not be beneficial. Adverse to that, beneficial externalities are called positive externalities, and opposite to that is called negative externalities. Now in this flowchart we can see classification of externalities. So first consumption we can divide them into two, that is positive and negative. Production side also we have positive as well as negative. So here private security, positive externality means private security. Here negative is loudspeaker. In the same way production side beehive pollination, it indirectly helps in many ways. Factory emission, it is a production side negative externality. So we will be discussing about this in detail now. Before that, we are going to discuss about the difference between positive consumption externality and negative consumption externality. So when some residents of a locality hire a private security agency to take care of that area, to patrol that area, the other residents of the area will also benefit from that, isn't it? They will also get benefit from better security they will get without bearing any cost. And here for negative consumption externality, a person smoking cigarette gets may give satisfaction to that person alone, but this act causes hardship, that is dissatisfaction to the non-smokers who are driven to passive smoking. Now we are going to discuss about positive production externality. The ideal location of beehives is orchards, isn't it? So while bees make honey, they also help in the pollination of apple blossoms. So the benefits accrue to both producers, honey as well as apple. So this is called reciprocal untraded interdependency. Suppose training is given for the workers in a company. If those trained workers leave the company to join some other company, the later company gets the benefit of skilled workers without incurring the cost of training. If you take the emissions and effluents of a factory cost, it comes under the negative production externalities. When answering any question on negative externalities, consider whether the external costs are significant, and if so, whether they can be measured and valued accurately. Negative production externalities include pollution generated by a factory imposes on others. So the emissions and effluents of a factory cause air and water pollution, becomes contaminated and unfit for drinking. So for example, we can take tanneries. The community bears the external cost for which it is not compensated. Okay children, today we discussed about externalities, positive production externalities and negative production externalities. Tomorrow we will continue with pollution. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you children.